What a crazy, wild week in the NFL. What a crazy, wild week in the NFL. My NFL Week 8 picks video is coming out tomorrow. Please check it out. I do not have a show on Wednesday. It's just I'm going to call it personal situation. Leave it at that. However, I will get back to you on Wednesday evening, Wednesday afternoon. If you have a question that can't wait, you can email me, you can DM me, you can put a comment in my weekly picks video. I'll help you out any way I can. Trey, what's up, brother? How are you feeling? Oh man, how are you feeling? How did Saquon Barkley do? Oh geez, let me. What was it? 176. I'm actually going to look this up. I mean, this is just. Oh God, if you want to talk about a player in a revenge game, this would be it. 17 carries, 176, and a touchdown. 2 receptions, 11 yards. Jalen Hurts only threw for 114 yards, and you win by 25. Wow. Yeah, it's funny because I normally don't believe in revenge games. I normally don't I don't think NFL players, for the most part, really get amped up to play a particular team. I mean, these guys are multimillionaires. These guys, most NFL players have been playing football since they were 4 or 5 years old. But yeah. And but this might be a little different. I watched a Hard Knocks episode and with the Giants, and I understood the logic behind not being able to pay Saquon while you have to fix other parts of your team. But I think Saquon Barkley kind of circled this one, and I would call him the fantasy football MVP. Great game. When healthy. Somebody mentioned to Saquon Barkley, why does he look so different this year? Number one, he's healthy. When he's healthy, he always looks this good. But he also has a good offensive line. And by the way, your offensive line was banged up. So big win for the Eagles. The NFC East is getting interesting. Jeffrey, what's up, brother, man? I'm doing fantastic. My NFL Week 8 picks video is coming out tomorrow. No show Wednesday, but if you need anything, let me know. You can DM me, put a comment in the video, go old school, and shoot me an email, and I will get back to you. One of the things about me, I always say call your girl baby, because there's nothing wrong with calling her. There's nothing worse than calling your girlfriend the wrong name, but I'm really bad with names. Koshin Sierra, I have no idea how to pronounce that. I am so sorry. Koeni Sierra. I'm probably butchering that. Please forgive me. I'm really bad with names. I've always been bad with names. Terrible with names. All right. I don't know if you remember me, but I had the trade offer of DK Metcalf and Kyren Williams for CD and Josh Jacobs. Didn't actually end up going through with the trade and wound up that. I understand. Yeah, you would have had CD Lamb, and I actually remember that, man. You would have had CD Lamb and Josh Jacobs. DK Metcalf had a good game. I believe Kyren Williams had a good game. I did play-by-play for the Chiefs Niners, so I didn't get a chance to watch that game, but hopefully that worked out good for you because I know DK Metcalf had a good game. I believe he had an injury, so bear with me. But yeah, I won't stay in touch with me and let me know how you're doing going forward. Also, do you how'd you do this week? Let me know. I'm going to go with TC. Torgay Kaglar. Hey, man, I know you do reviews, but please give me your opinion on 49ers versus Cowboys or Chiefs versus Raiders or Lions versus Titans for week 8. Lions with 19 sacks, 8 interceptions, and 3 fumble recoveries. When you say do reviews, are you talking defense, just overall review? Are you talking for fantasy football or just reviews in general? Let me know because I can do both. I can break down all 3 of these games. I would love to, if I had more time, do individual videos on each game. When I do my review videos, I keep it around 5 minutes. I just give you bam, just I give you a score prediction. I give you the games against the spread. If you're going to go ahead and place a bet, what to do, and obviously the winner. But I just zip through it. I would love to do a more in-depth breakdown in each game. So if you need me to break down all three of these games, I'm more than happy to. Or if it's just fantasy football, let me know. I just want to say congrats on your win, although AOC looks like I want to go over that. We have multiple injuries. AOC, it's not confirmed, but it looks like he's out for the year. Deshaun Watson, I knew it immediately. It's a ruptured Achilles. He's out for the year. Aiden O'Connell is going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. Unknown about the Jaden Daniels injury. One other injury I'm just drawing a complete blank on. Actually, it's Tua looks like he may play Sunday. I hope he doesn't get hurt. Micah Parsons may or may not play. We'll have some more detail on that. But as far as cannot catch a break, I mean, he did sign that 4-year, $120 million deal. I mean, that's pretty good. And by the way, it is kind of related because players hold out, they don't go to training camp, then they get injured. This has happened throughout NFL history. I'm probably older than you are. There was this receiver named Al Toon, drafted the same class as Jerry Rice. Al Toon looked like he was going to be a Hall of Fame receiver. You're probably wondering who the hell this is. He held out. He came back. He looked physically different. Got injured, never the same. Probably don't even know who he is. But yeah, at one point in time, he looked better than Jerry Rice. Believe that's a true story. I went back and watched highlights of the Browns game after that first interception. DTR, though, he looked like it was in after that first. I watched the injury and I saw him running. I like Dorian Thompson-Robinson. He also had an injury. It's unknown if it's going to be Jameis Winston or Dorian Thompson-Robinson going forward. It's going to be very interesting to see what Cleveland does. Slim, what's up, brother? I'm glad to see you, man. Tigger, what is up, my brother? 12-team non-PPR Superflex 2 quarterback. I got Lamar. Good luck tonight. Brees Hall, Mason, Diggs, London, Ferguson, Mixon, T-Law, Benches, Aguilar, Derek Carr, Hunter Henry, Justin Hill. Kareem Hunt, nice. Hopefully you started Kareem Hunt yesterday. Zach Moss helped me win. I'm 6-1. Let me see here. I need help with my wide receiver. Who should I make a trade for? Only good wide receiver on waivers is Jerry Jeudy. Please help me out, Tigger the Cat. I go up against Coop and Justin Jefferson this week. Help me win. Ooh, boy. Okay. All right. Well, let's see here. I want to make sure I answer every question. This is a good one, and I haven't had a chance to break down next week yet. But let's take a look here. No team has a bye next week, which is a little interesting. So let's look at the matchups at quarterback. You're going to start Lamar Jackson. You have Trevor Lawrence coming back from a couple weeks in London. They're playing Green Bay. Interesting matchup there. Could have a big game. Derek Carr is projected to come back. They're going to play the Chargers. Tough matchup if he does come back. So your two quarterbacks are going to go with Lamar, Trevor Lawrence. Kareem Hunt. I would definitely recommend starting him. I like Brees Hall quite a bit. I wouldn't be surprised though if you wanted to go with Jordan Mason. You have some good receivers in Diggs in London. Ferguson is going to be your tight end. Trying to make a move for a wide receiver. That's a tough one because just looking at your lineup here, and you're in trouble because if Cooper Kupp comes back, that could be really 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 tough. You're going to know Thursday because the Thursday games Rams Vikings. So, and I really can't give you a great answer because I don't know what your team's like. I mean, I'm kind of looking at your team, and you have some good running backs. All right. The thing is, though, is do you really want to trade, Mason or Brees Hall or Kareem Hunt? That would be tough. You're looking at Aguilar and Zach Moss. You're not really getting a good value there. All right. I saw Mixon. So okay, so you have Hall, Mason, Mixon, and Hunt. Somebody in your league is going to need a running back. That I can't speak for the 11 people in your league. What you have to do. I always try to do this. Like I put little mental notes here. Like I was in a league with a bunch of Chiefs fans, but one guy was a Cowboys fan. The Cowboys fan obviously would like Cowboys players. Everybody wanted Chiefs players. I had a rule to not pick Chiefs players at the time, but in hindsight, that was a mistake because Chiefs players will have more value to Chiefs fans. I have no idea. Maybe you have somebody who really likes Brees Hall, like myself. That player may have a little more value. What you're going to have to do is kind of, as far as receivers to look at, what kind of value does Tyreek have? Tua's coming back next week. I mean, this could be a superstar. Whoever has Tyreek Hill, or would they be willing to make a move? How do you feel about it? Trying to think of another receiver. I mean, really, it's a great question. I just don't have a great answer. Does somebody who has maybe one of the big 3 or 4? I mean, look, top 5. I'll give you top 5 receivers. Okay, Justin Jefferson, obviously that you're not going to be able to trade for him. CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, AJ Brown. Somebody who has one of those guys, do they need a running back? Because you got 4 good ones and then 2 guys that you could throw away. So I mean, I don't know about the 11 other people in your league. Reach out to somebody who needs a running back. I would also target. You're 6-1, all right. I would target somebody who's got 1 or 2 wins that need some help. So I don't know how you would value Amari Cooper. Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson. You're just gonna have to you're just gonna have to reach out. But I mean, you got some pieces you can trade for. The good news is in Diggs in London is that you got guys that can get you points. London's been playing really, really good, and Diggs is decent, but I think his numbers will go down. So it's not a. I'm not giving you the best answer, but I'm giving you some ideas. Let me know what kind of trades that you're able to get. I also wanted to ask you, what do you think I could improve on my team? Josh Allen, nice. Got some really good running backs. Kyron, Monty, Chuba, wide receivers, AJ. Wow, nice running back and receiver room. The 12-team full PPR league. If you have any suggestions, I like your team, man. I'm trying to. I mean, this is a really, really, really good team. You got a couple number one receivers. Guy Brian Thomas Jr. has immense of upside. You have 3 good running backs. You got 5 receivers, all of them I like. 2 really, really, really good tight ends. I like it. I like it. I offered. Wait a minute, Henry. I offered Henry. Oh, Hunter Henry. I'm sorry. I saw Henry and okay. Offered Henry and Moss for D Hop. Should I do it with other trades I need to win? It's Tigger. Actually, for your team, I like it a lot. You do have another tight end on your roster. Yeah, you have Ferguson, so you're in good shape there. Dallas already had its bye, so Ferguson's solid. I really, 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 I like this move, and the reason why I like it, Mason Rudolph got to start last week. He didn't do well, but DeAndre Hopkins could be traded at the trade deadline. That's definitely a possibility. I also think that as long as Mason Rudolph is the quarterback, you have some increased potential. So I like the move. That's solid, and you're not sacrificing much. After you do that, you're going to have a roster spot available. Scour the waiver wire and let me know if there's anybody maybe you can snag. Jalen Polk for the Patriots, maybe somebody you can grab. It's not a great option, but Justin Watson of the Chiefs, he's going to play a lot more. Chiefs have some injuries at wide receiver. Jacoby Myers might be available. I doubt it. Nelson Aguilar, Jahan Dotson, throwing some names out. But yeah, I like that trade. I actually like that trade a lot. So, by the way, it's just an old gamer tag. That's nice. Okay. I need for both. I always do bets on my fantasy football defensive choice. Please give me suggestions for both. I believe our team is a good offense. What makes the difference is defense. Okay, good. Thanks for giving me a heads up. All right, so defense. Okay. 49ers defense against Cowboys. I'm going to level with you right now. Out of all the defenses that you're looking at, I would rule out the 49ers. It's a tough matchup against Dallas. Dallas is off of a bye. I actually could see a high-scoring game there. Another thing about Dallas is that it's in San Francisco, but Dallas is undefeated on the road this year. Really weird thing. So I would not recommend the Niners defense. Chiefs versus the Raiders. You may remember that during the preseason, I watched it quite a bit where the Raiders defensive backs called Patrick Mahomes a bitch. I know Patrick Mahomes saw it quite often. So I would strongly kind of lean towards maybe the Chiefs, but the Lions against a beat-up Titans team that's starting a backup quarterback, that's also an option too. Plus, you're playing in Detroit. I wouldn't rule out the 49ers. If you go with Chiefs or Lions, I don't think you're in bad shape. I actually have no idea who's the starting quarterback for Tennessee. I don't know if they're going to stick with Mason Rudolph or if they're going to go with Will Levis. I'm not sold on the Lions defense, but they do have a lot of turnovers. I think they had a couple interceptions against Minnesota. The 19 sacks, remember, there's no Aiden Hutchinson. I think he had 6.5 of those. So, yeah. So I would lean towards Chiefs or Lions in this case. I'll say one thing about the Lions. I said this last week. I picked my upset pick. I thought Washington may overlook Carolina, and they did not. You just got done beating an undefeated Vikings team on the road. You come home, you're playing a 1-4, 1-5 Tennessee team. This is this is the type of game that I could see Detroit maybe, but the Chiefs still be amped up for the Raiders. The Raiders beat the Chiefs Christmas Day. They're the last team actually to beat Kansas City, so just be careful. But Chiefs or Lions, I wish I could give you a definite look. I'm a Chiefs fan, so I would go with the Chiefs, but I don't have an unbiased opinion here, so. Let me see here. This is good. Yeah. I like your idea. I mean, yeah, I think this is smart. I think this is smart. I wish I can give you an unbiased opinion on my Chiefs, but I can't. I saw the Mahomes' bitch. I saw that a lot. I know Mahomes saw it a lot. So Raiders look like they're on self-destruct mode too. Same thing with Tennessee. So you go with either one. I think you're doing good. I would lean towards Kansas City, but I'm a Chiefs fan. Chargers, Lions, and 49ers. I would lean towards the Chargers on this one. Chargers play at home against the Saints. Saints, unknown quarterback situation, has some problems on the offensive line. I haven't had a chance to dive into the injury report, but I believe their center is going to be out. I know that last week when they played, they had some injuries also, so I would look at that a little bit. 49ers against Cowboys, I don't like. The Lions are solid. I mean, Tennessee has a bad offense. I'm kind of worried this could be kind of a trap game for the Lions, if you will. But you're playing against you have an unknown quarterback situation with the Lions. I would lean towards the Chargers, but I don't love it. The Lions, I think, would be solid. It's just that I'll be honest with you, I just don't trust their defense. So, Brandon Ayuk out for the season. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I thought he was, but I didn't know that for a fact. Are the Niners in serious? I don't think so at all. I really don't. When you look at the NFC West, they're one game out. I think I know Seattle had a big win in Atlanta, but I think that the 49ers are better than Seattle. I actually think they could lose against Dallas and still not be in terrible shape because you still get to play Seattle one more time at home. You already beat Seattle. Remember, you beat them handily. Seattle's the front runner in the NFC West, and I'm not sold on them at all. All right. You do have to play the Rams again, but you play them at home. The schedule's a little tough. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, the schedule's a little tough. You have some tough opponents, but I think the NFC West winner could have 8 or 9 wins. And that's probably all you're going to need. I'm not sold on Seattle. I know that they beat Atlanta. That was probably like my favorite game to bet on besides the Chiefs, which I won some money on the Chiefs. Andre, by the way, it's so good to see you again, brother. I don't think they're in serious trouble. I really don't. I mean, the Brandon Ayuk injury is bad, but look, you got George Kittle, you got Deebo Samuel, you got Ricky Purcell, who played a little bit. You got some other guys on your team. One thing about the Niners is they don't have a lot of depth. So, I mean, it hurts, but here's the drill. If you get into the playoffs and you get CMC back, you know, that might be all you need. And by the way, all you got to do is get in, man. I mean, the NFC is interesting because I think that there's going to be a team in the NFC with 10, maybe even 11 wins that is out of the playoffs. And you're going to have an NFC West winner with 8 or 9 wins get in over a 10 or 11 win team. And here's the deal, 49ers, if they win the West, they will host a playoff game. You watch Green Bay as the 7th seed last year beat Dallas, came very close to beating the 49ers. All you got to do is get in. I don't think they're in serious trouble, but I mean, the schedule's tough. But I seriously think they could lose against Dallas and still be okay. I know that sounds crazy. Oh, you're 3-5 and you're okay. Yeah. You have a bye after Dallas. Then you have a tough 4-game stretch at Tampa, Seattle at home, at Green Bay, at Buffalo. But if you sweep Seattle, you're in good shape. And then you still get to play the Rams at home. I know you lost to the Cardinals, but you play the Cardinals again last game of the season. I kind of like that. But yeah, not in serious trouble. There's no shame in losing to the Chiefs. I am a Chiefs fan, but they're the last undefeated team in football. They are the best team in football right now. Right now, best team in football. So I didn't have that confirmed when I started the show. I was pretty sure he was out, but so ESPN says 49ers fear a torn ACL, but it wasn't confirmed. I mean, if he tears his ACL week 8, you're out. I mean, medical technology is improved, but not enough that you can return from a torn ACL. So that's a huge. If he's in your waiver wire, pick him up, and I'll explain why. He had an ACL injury in October. Okay. In college, apparently everything's fine. Apparently he's good to go. He's back at practice. This kid set some sort of high school rushing record in Texas. Now, I'm assuming from your name that you may be named after the city of Austin, even though it's spelled different. If you're not familiar with high school football in Texas, it is completely different than anywhere in the world. They take their high school football serious in the state of Texas. It is the best high school football in the world. I heard about South Lake High School. Several NFL players went to South Lake. It's suburb in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I got to travel down there. Wonderful area. Strongly recommend going to Fort Worth if you've never been there. It's fantastic. Anyway, I was seeing some girl and I was like, hey, can we go to this game? And she's kind of laughed. And I was like, well, what's so funny? Like, I thought, no, I really want to go. I think it'd be funny. She's like, oh, yeah, you got to be on a waiting list. And you can only buy season tickets, and the waiting list like 25 years or something. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, they take their shit really serious in the state of Texas when it comes to high school football. Jonathan Brooks set some sort of high school rushing record. I can't emphasize how big that is. He looked like a first-round pick at the University of Texas before he tore his ACL. He was still the first running back taken in the draft. I think so. That said, he may be relegated to special teams. They may decide that since their season's over, why risk it? And Chuba Hubbard's playing really well. They got Miles Sanders they're giving a lot of money to. You have no idea. I mean, you really have no idea. Carolina could fire their coach again. Everything's it's the ultimate crapshoot. I think it is because I think that when he does come back, I think the Panthers are just going to see what they have. And this is a guy who has unlimited potential. This is a guy with really good speed, vision, balance, body control. But it's funny because I kept on hearing comparisons to Jamal Charles because he had the long hair like Jamal Charles and he kind of runs like him, but he's a 6 foot, 215, 220 pound dude. Jamal Charles was like 195. So I never understood the comparison except that they're both Texas running backs who Jamal Charles wore 25, he wore 24. The long hair, I get it, but there are some, they kind of sort of look alike, but there are some kind of similarities. It's just that Brooks is significantly bigger. Here's the drill. Worst case scenario, this is a guy that just plays on special teams and he does 0. You could also be getting a top 5 to 10 player in fantasy football. I think you pick him up if he's on the waiver wire. I think you 100% pick him up because there's absolutely no downside unless you have to drop a starter. You could be getting literally a top 5 to 10 fantasy football player. The upside's that high. I cannot overemphasize that you could be getting a top 5 to 10 fantasy football player. Or you could be getting a guy that does absolutely nothing. It's really that. But would I pick him up? Absolutely. Lamar Hall, Mason Diggs, Ferguson, flex. I would definitely try to trade for Mason for sure. Guys that you could trade. Yeah. I want to know more as far as Sticker's concerned. I really want to know who you can get. That would be my question. Sisu, my German brother, what is up, man? I'm sorry it took so long to get your comment, man. Dak or Russell Wilson? That's a really great question because I think I wanted to talk about this in a little more detail. I wanted to talk about how impressed I was with Russell Wilson and how much better I thought the Steelers looked. Now, is that a flash in the pan or is that going to continue to happen? That's a great question. They play on Monday Night Football against the Giants, a team that's really struggling. Dallas is fresh off a bye playing against a 49ers team that is really struggling. So it's a great question. You have one on Sunday Night Football, one on Monday Night Football. If you've been watching me, like I know you have been, I love playing guys on Monday Night Football final week. You may not need anything. That said, I would really lean towards Dak, and I'll tell you why. The Cowboys are more of a passing offense than the Steelers. The Steelers did have success. That Russell Wilson played really well. I have to eat a lot of what I said, but I mean, I'm looking at a passing offense that has weapons, that's off of a bye, that really needs a win. I would lean towards Dak. I'll be honest with you, and you've heard me say this several times. It could be a situation like, what's your favorite flavor, chocolate versus strawberry? I think it's a little more balanced than that. I would go towards Dak, and the reason why is you have a passing offense versus a rushing offense. Both teams are going against good defenses. Um, Giants defense, I know they gave up a lot of points to Philly, but the one thing that they gave up a lot of rushing yards to Saquon Barkley. Jalen Hurts only had 114 yards passing. I mean, let me ask you this here: what's the ceiling for Russell Wilson? I mean, let's go back to last week, because that was seriously like the best I've seen Russell Wilson play in a while. Let's go to that game here. I mean, that was really the best I've seen Russell Wilson play in a while. 16 out 29, 264, 2 touchdowns, 3 carries, 3 yards, 1 rushing touchdown. So 264 and 2 touchdowns. That's probably a ceiling. I mean, by the way, 36 carries, 29 passes. All right, I understand you won going away, but I mean, this game was close for a while. I mean, Jets were up at halftime. Dak could easily put up 300, win or lose. When's the last time Russell Wilson threw for 300? Now, the 3 touchdowns is solid. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Russell Wilson has 3 touchdowns again, but I would lean towards that. Yeah, Mason's a guy I think could be dropping in value, Tigger. But I would, yeah, you would try to reach out and see what kind of trade offers you can get. Should I go with the Broncos defense playing the Panthers? Better options? There's not going to be too many better options. I've been impressed with Carolina when they won, when Andy Dalton came back. I'm not sold in Washington's defense. They put up 7. That was really disturbing. Denver's coming off of a Thursday game, and the defense is playing lights out. There's not very many teams I'm looking at right now that would be better, hands down, better options. I mean, I'll be honest with you, even my Chiefs may not be a better option with Gardner Minshew coming in. You never know, but I 100%, yeah, go with that. Dave, what's up, brother? Danny, my boy, won my matchup this week in fantasy. Yes. Got a couple questions for you. Would you drop the Jets defense for Kansas City? I actually would. The Jets really aren't playing good defense right now. Would you drop Aaron Rodgers for Dak Prescott? And for bench depth, I was about ready to say absolutely, and then I was like, ooh, hold up here, hold up. All right. I'm going to level with you. The Jets are a complete unknown. All right. You said depth. So your question is that which bench quarterback would be better, Rodgers or Prescott? That's kind of on you, because I think with Rodgers, you still have an unknown factor. I mean, look, Devontae Adams just showed up a few days ago. They played a brutal Steelers defense at home. Okay. I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm pulling up the Jets schedule here, and you have New England. Didn't look good in London, but overall solid. Houston defense has been good, but not dominant. Arizona, Indianapolis, Seattle, Miami, Jacksonville. I think you see what I'm getting is that I could see a win against the Patriots. You play a Thursday night game on Halloween at home against Houston. If you get a win there, you're playing against some defenses that really aren't that good. Now, I think Dak Prescott's really good in fantasy because you have a pass first team. I mean, you're throwing the ball all over the field. You know, if you're the Dallas Cowboys and you got weapons, you're built to be a passing team. That's just Mike McCarthy. That's just always been. But you know, with Aaron Rodgers, you have no idea. I mean, I would lean towards it. And I say lean because there is a chance that Aaron Rodgers gets his weapons. He just says, you know what? I don't care what this interim head coach says. I don't care what this interim offensive coordinator says. You know what? I've been playing. I'm a first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm gonna just do whatever the hell I want, and I'm just gonna go for it. And I'm gonna do whatever I want. I'm gonna throw the ball 60 times a game. Screw him. Maybe he does that. You really think Jeff Albert's gonna go public and say, "Well, I told him not to throw the ball and he threw it anyway"? Of course he's not. So you never know. I would lean towards Prescott, but the truth is with Aaron Rodgers, you have an unknown quantity. You may regret it because Aaron Rodgers could just once remember the very first throw to Devontae Adams, he dropped it. Like then it just started to click a little bit. There's not too many defenses better than the Steelers. I mean, I'm looking at their next couple of games, and there's a chance Rodgers may just start lighting it up. So, iTag, what is up, brother, man? Dude, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, you did not do well. Do not apologize. It's what I'm here for, man. You ask me as many questions as you want. You can DM me. You can also go old school, email me, and I'm here. I'm here to help. Okay, week 7, Burrow or Hurts? Great question. Both teams are playing, they're playing against each other. Both teams have good defenses. It's a tough one. I would lean towards Burrow. Keep in mind Jalen Hurts. It's with 44 minutes in, I have a brain for Kellen Moore, new offensive coordinator, pass first guy, leaned on the run last week against the Giants, and it worked. Could they do the same thing against the Bengals? Sure. I still would go with Burrow. That seems to be what they want to do. Throw the ball. They're going to be successful doing it. Joe Burrow's playing some good ball. I mean, I know they only put up 21 in kind of a weird game, but he did have 2 touchdown passes, if I remember correctly. I don't think he had terrible numbers. I should know this right off the top of my head, but I don't. 15 out of 25, 181, 2 touchdowns. Fantasy-wise, well, except for the game against the Giants, worst game of the season. Against the Giants, he had more passing yards, just not as many touchdowns. But I would lean towards Burrow. I really would. I mean, look, 5 games, 14 passing touchdowns. Not really. It had a rushing touchdown against the Giants. Don't ever count on that. But I mean, you're looking at 12 touchdowns in 5 games. I mean, that's pretty solid. 1759. forgive my math, but 1759 divided by 5 is what, 350? Am I doing my math right? 350? Is that right? I can't be right. He's not averaging 350 yards a game. My math must be all. 1759 divided by 5. I can't be right. I'm doing something wrong here. I apologize. All right. I thought it would have it here average per game, but it doesn't. I'm just spitballing 1759 divided by 5. That sounds right. Like, 3 times 5, 15, 2, 2, 5 is 5. So that I can't see that being right. He's not passing for 350 yards a game. I mean, I'm just looking at that can't be right, but okay, I'm sorry. It's 251.3. It's 6 games. It says he played in 7. Played in 7 games? All right. My math's a little off today, but needless to say, you kind of see my point. You're looking at a quarterback more likely to throw the ball. Jalen Hurts, Eagles ran the ball, but I would still go with Burrow. I wouldn't blame you if you said, "Nah, I'm going to go with Hurts, more likely to get a rushing touchdown." Don't blame you. Okay. Kamara, Montgomery, Brian Thompson Jr., Jonathan Taylor. Taylor, if healthy, has to be the guy. This is all injury issues, really. Ryan Robinson Jr., if he plays, if he's not on the injury report, playing against the tough Bears defense, that would probably be the first one I sit, if he's on the injury report at all. Montgomery had that fumble. They went more with Gibbs. Tough matchup against Tennessee, by the way. Tough matchup with the Saints. All right. Injury report. Jonathan Taylor plays, you have to start him. Okay, I know it's a tough matchup. All 4 of your running backs have tough matchups. So pick 3. I would go in this order. I would go Brian Robinson Jr. I would go Jonathan Taylor if healthy, Kamara, those 2. And then you have to figure out Montgomery or Brian Robinson Jr. Brian Robinson Jr., if he's on the injury report at all during the week, put him on the bench, go with Montgomery. As much as I love my boy Travis Kelce, as much as he beats up the Raiders, as much as the Chiefs are Juju Smith-Schuster's out, I would go with Ingram. The Raiders don't have that good of a defense, but they are solid. Is it a better matchup than Green Bay? I'm not sure. But if I'm the Raiders, I'm doing everything humanly possible to take away Kelce. Ingram's got the fresher legs. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what his stats were last week. Let's take a look. 5 for 35. Yeah. Look, you need a win against Green Bay. The Chiefs are going to beat the Raiders. Let's be honest here. They are going to beat the Raiders. The whole calling Patrick Mahomes a bitch is something the Chiefs are going to take personal. Losing on Christmas is another thing they're going to take personal. I don't believe in revenge games very often, but God, I'm almost talking myself into Kelce. I would lean towards Ingram. I really would. By the way, you want to go Kelce, I would not blame you because I'm almost talking myself into Kelce. Broncos D is very good. iTag, do me a favor, stay in touch with me. We're going to follow the injury report on Jonathan Taylor, Brian Robinson Jr., Kelce or Ingram. my bam, first fire, first shot reactions, Ingram. I'm kind of looking at this now, and I'm kind of like, I don't know. I would say go with Ingram, but I could see this being weak. Kelsey has a couple touchdowns. Wish I can give you. Wish I first instinct fire away would be Ingram, but if you went with Kelsey, I would not blame you. I think Kelsey got a good game. Noah, what is up, my brother? My team crushed it. Yes. John Mixon, Amon Ra, really good. 132 stuff with Lamar and McBride to play. Yeah, you're in good shape, man. Great job. I love hearing this stuff, man. This just makes my Monday. This makes my Monday. I really want to hear from you. By the way, if you're thinking to yourself, oh, I lose, I got to wait. No. If you lose, definitely come in. Let myself in the chat help you. But this makes my Monday. This makes me happy. I love this. Noah, thank you. So Jan, what's up, brother? Should have played Amari Cooper this week. Had Pop Douglas. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I saw like his first pass attempt was like a drop, but yeah. Yeah, you're in good shape, man. You're in good shape with CD. I forgot to check on the status of Nico Collins, but once they come back, you're in great shape. You're in great shape. And by the way, Amari Cooper, CD, Nico, you're in good shape. Stay in touch, and we'll get you on the right track. So you're in good shape though, because you got some studs. So you're in good shape. Dan, what's up? Dan DBC. It's coming down to waiver wire for me. I'm up 7. He has a Chargers D, and we both have a kicker tonight. I have Dicker. He has Tucker. That's interesting. You're up 7. Ooh, boy. Dicker's the Chargers kicker. I should know that. I'm 80% sure he's the Chargers kicker. God, that's a tough one because I'm gonna level with you. I'm gonna level with you because I think Tampa and Baltimore is going to be a high scoring game. So Tucker's definitely going to put up some points tonight. The big question is, because I actually think the Chargers Cardinals game is going to be relatively low scoring. You're kind of hoping Kyler Murray has one of those efficient performances, which is you really never know. I like the Chargers defense this week quite a bit, to be honest with you. The big question is that in a low-scoring game, are you going to get 21 points where he scores 3, or are you going to get 19 where he's got 4 field goals and an extra point? As Tucker is going to put up some points, so. Good luck, man. I'll be pulling for you, man. I'll be pulling for you. Yeah, you got a tough one, man. I'm going to level with you. I'm really going to level with you. I would expect a loss because you're definitely getting some points with Tucker, and I like the Chargers D, but you may luck out and just, here's the drill. If the Chargers have one of those nights where they have to kick a bunch of field goals, you're going to win. If they have a night where they're scoring touchdowns, you're in bad shape. Because Tucker is going to get some points. I'm just giving you a heads up. So good luck. I'm pulling for you, though. Even here's the thing about fantasy football. A lot of times you can have a really good defensive performance, but you don't have a lot of fantasy football points. You don't have a lot of sacks. You don't have a lot of turnovers, but maybe you hold the Cardinals to a lot of 3 and outs. That could be in trouble. You could be in trouble. So I'll be pulling for you, Dan. It's a cool name. Dan, do you think I am safe this week? I am 5 points ahead. I have Goodwin and Lamar. Enemy has little. Um, can all right. I'm all right. Can you explain this again? You have Godwin and Lamar, and he has Lamar. How does that work? Can I'm assuming it's a typo. Can you let me know? Oh God, this is a tough one, man. This is a tough one. Dak or CJ. So one thing about Houston is that they're running the ball more. This is a matchup against a bad Colts defense. Now I know they won last week, and I'm really surprised because I didn't like I didn't like Anthony Richardson starting. I think they should have gone with Flacco. But I mean, I want to tell you Dak because I can see a situation where you're at home, you're playing against a bad running defense. You got Joe Mixon. I could see CJ Stroud really relying on the running game. I think the Texans are going to match up really well against the Colts offensively. I don't think the Colts offense, unless Jonathan Taylor comes back and has a monster game, I would lean towards Dak personally because I'm looking at a team that's more pass heavy than run heavy. That said, who's more likely to have turnovers in this game, Dak or CJ? And it's probably going to be Dak. With the way they performed a couple weeks ago, you never know, man. There's no way I thought the Cowboys would have got 9 points at home against the Lions. No way. So can they right the ship during the bye week? I mean, the 49ers are this is a must-win situation in San Francisco for Sunday night. Cowboys are undefeated on the road. Weird stat. Normally it's flipped around. I mean, they're 0-3 at home, 3-0 on the road. It's really weird. I would not blame you if you take CJ. I would lean towards Dak. You have a team that's going to throw the ball 40, 50 times a game in Dallas. Houston's much more likely to run the ball, but I would be floored if CJ Stroud had a bad game. I could see him having, 200 yards and 1 or 2 touchdowns, but no picks. I could see a situation where Dak has 300 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 picks. I mean, they picked off Mahomes 3 times. So here's the drill. Yeah, and you have heard me say this before. With CJ, you have a much higher floor. With Dak, you have a much higher ceiling. If I remember, that was Tigger, who was 5-1. If you're projected to win, and I should have your roster memorized, I don't, but if you're projected to win, I would lean with CJ Stroud. If you really need some points, I would go with Dak, but this is a good problem to have. Austin, what a great question, man. That's a great question. Max, I'm going to answer your question, but it's going to be after the commercial break. I'm going to take a very fast commercial break. I'll be back. I'm going to answer every single question today, so stay tuned. As Afternoon Delight is on a commercial break, we want to remind you that BetUS is a proud affiliate of Dan Talks Football. I made my first $100 deposit and it was fast and easy, but check it out for yourself. The video is in the description below. Check out BetUS and start winning today. The award-winning NFL Week 8 Picks video is coming out tomorrow. Make sure you watch it and drop a comment on how you think your team will do this week, or pick all 16 Week 8 games. Your comments help. Check it out. It's coming tomorrow. All right, I am back. Um, uh, I'm trying to wean myself off energy drinks. I'm going with coffee. I got some cinnamon. I got some no sugar creamer in here. Um, I bought myself this $9 coffee pot at Walmart, and this is what happens when you get $9 coffee pot. When you pour it, it pours like, this stream of coffee goes all over the table. Teaches me. All right. First world problems. Max, what's up, brother? I just traded JT. Okay. I'm a huge Jonathan Taylor fan, but you got DK Metcalf, and my running backs being Gibbs, Dobbins, and Swift was a good trade. Well, this week it was. I mean, Gibbs had a great game. I think Dobbins will have a great game. You're probably my question would be: you're probably playing Dobbins tonight? I mean, Swift's on a bye. I love Jonathan Taylor. I can't emphasize that enough. But the Colts are dead set on Anthony Richardson being the starting quarterback. A mistake, in my opinion. So, under normal circumstances, I'm assuming you're in a PPR league. If you're not, then the value for Jonathan Taylor actually goes up, but he's still solid. DK Metcalf, he did get banged up, but I think he's fine. It's been really consistent this year, which is normally he's really up and down, but he's been very consistent. I think he did make a good trade. Value wise, when Jonathan Taylor comes back, if he doesn't get injured again, is he a top 5 or top 10 running back in fantasy? Sure, but you got some really good options in Gibbs, Dobbins, and Swift. They leaned on Gibbs more. And by the way, I don't agree with this, but they like Gibbs more than they like Montgomery. Of course, Montgomery had that fumble. So, yeah, I think he did make a good trade. Max, I don't recognize the name. It's a cool name. I'm butchering the last name. Pengillion. I'm really bad with names. I don't recognize you, but I hope to hear more from you, man. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button. But yeah, I apologize, Anger. I'm already behind on comments. So, oh my, I got people from Guam. Are you serious? This is awesome. Oh my God, Guam. Freaking awesome, GB. Yeah, Aiden O'Connell's out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. I didn't agree with that. They should have just stayed with Minshew. Going back to Minshew, now you're playing against the Chiefs. The Chiefs will remember that you called Patrick Mahomes a bitch. I never believe in tanking. You remember the tank for Tua? They traded, was it Minkah Fitzpatrick, Laramie Tunsil? There's another player. A lot of people thought that they were tanking. I didn't. They actually ended the season pretty well. But so I put cinnamon in my coffee. I'm an anti-sugar person, and the cinnamon went down. I never believe in tanking. And by the way, by the way, GB, I'm gonna do a ton of draft content. Last year, in February, I moved 2 time zones from Kansas City to Vegas. I had some problems, so I got set up here. I wasn't able to do as much with the draft as I would have liked. I had, I think, 8 mock drafts. Ideally, I'm going to do more. Keep in mind, my lease is up in February. My plan is to stay here, but if I move, there could be some problems with doing draft content. Ideally, I do a lot more draft content this year than last year. That said, there's really no consensus number one quarterback. This year's draft, you had, Caleb Williams, everybody thought was number one. Jaden Daniels, you had Drake May, you have Michael Penix Jr., JJ McCarthy, and then Spencer Rattler, Bo Nix. I mean, you had, all these rookies this year. I really like Cam Ward. Most seasons he's a Heisman candidate or front runner, putting up fantastic numbers, leading Miami to a undefeated season as of now. A couple come from behind victories. A 28-point come from behind victory in the fourth quarter against Cal. Not a great opponent, but 28 points in the fourth quarter. That's impressive. Down by 2 touchdowns against Virginia Tech. And he's putting up fantastic numbers. He's got the size. He's got some athleticism, a decent arm. I haven't watched enough on his mechanics. Shadir Sanders is his stock after the season, I think, is going to go up because he knows how to interview. He is playing in a pro style offense already. I think that I'm not 100% sure, but I think Antonio Pierce, if he stays with the Raiders, I think him and Mark Davis and Tom Brady can, because Deion Sanders is going to be very involved. He's going to be very involved. He's already said that. He's already been public. He's not going somewhere like Carolina, Cleveland, Tennessee. He's going to go to a big media market, which Vegas is not technically a big media market, but it's an international city with lots of upside as far as marketing and endorsements. So like Vegas is something that you could sell. There's like if Tennessee drafts Shadir Sanders, I can promise you he's not going to sign. Vegas could sign Shadir Sanders, and they can pitch that, hey, you get to play twice against Patrick Mahomes. That would be a lot of fun. That said, there's nobody who's saying, oh, Shadir Sanders is going to be the lockdown number one player in the draft. Nobody's really saying that. You don't have to tank. I mean, look, Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs had the 27th pick in the draft when they drafted Patrick Mahomes. They traded 27 to 10. They traded with Buffalo. And by the way, Buffalo later on, they drafted Josh Allen. So they ended up being in good shape. Josh Allen, by the way, was the 6th pick in the draft. Sam Darnold was 3rd. Sam Darnold's playing great in Minnesota, but you kind of, hopefully you get my point. Justin Herbert was chosen after Tua. If you're going to sit here and tell me Tua's a better quarterback when healthy, I'd say okay. Well, I remember Keaton, who's been on my show a couple of times. He said the best ability is availability. So, I've heard a few people talk about Musselman or Nesselman, the LSU quarterback. Jackson Dart from Ole Miss is solid, but I mean, look, I'm never a fan of tanking. That's my answer. Are you going to beat Kansas City at home? I doubt it. Full disclosure, check out my week 8 picks video, which is coming out tomorrow. Please watch it. But full disclosure, I there's a good chance I'm going to pick the Chiefs. So, but I'm never a fan of tanking. Who do you think the Chiefs' biggest threat? Texans, Bills, Baltimore. I'll be honest with you. I really think here's the drill. There is a blueprint to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. You have to put pressure on Mahomes with 4. You have to get turnovers, and you have to score some points. After last week, I think the team that scares me the most would be the Pittsburgh Steelers, because the Steelers with TJ Watt and Highsmith do not have to blitz, and they can still put pressure on Mahomes. They can run the ball and play keep away. Uh, I really, here's the deal with Baltimore and the Bills. When they play the Chiefs, you could almost see them freeze up. Russell Wilson last year beat the Kansas City Chiefs as a Denver Bronco quarterback. It was the first time Denver's beaten Kansas City since 1843. It was like 16 straight. It was like an NFL record. It was like 16 straight wins against the Broncos. The Houston Texans can beat Kansas City because they can put pressure with Mahomes with just 4. They're one of the few teams that can do that. And I love CJ Stroud. If you had to tell me the biggest threat after last week, I would say the Steelers, because a healthy TJ Watt and I keep on wanting to call him Alonzo Highsmith because that was his dad, but I think it's Alex Highsmith. Really, 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 really. Really think it's the Steelers, because I think the Bills in Baltimore, when they play against Kansas City, just kind of choke up. The Texans, I don't know about. It's kind of a new identity. When they're at full speed, full health, you got Nico Collins, unlimited potential. Joe Mixon looks really good. The offensive line solid, and you could put pressure on with Mahomes on 4. But there's a blueprint. It all revolves around one principle. You have to put pressure on Patrick Mahomes with 4. If you can't do that, you cannot beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know if Baltimore can do that. I don't think Buffalo can do that. Houston could, but the team that scares me more than any other team after last week was Pittsburgh Steelers, because if Pittsburgh Steelers put up 30, there's not a lot of teams that they're going to lose to. That defense is really good, and if they can put up 30 with being able to run the ball, that's scary. That's a scary team. Those 3 teams, the Houston Texans. I've been saying this for a long time. I don't think the Chiefs are going to three-peat. There's a reason why no team in NFL history has done it. But I will say this, the Chiefs are undefeated, and I have not seen a worse 6-game stretch out of Patrick Mahomes ever. So. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, you may want to go with CJ then. I would need a little more information, but I would, yeah, if you're 5-2, stick with Steady Eddie, but you're in good shape. BD Buster! Told you I was confident. Hey, you did. So Funk asked me during the live stream, he said, watch this BS at the end of the game, and I watched it. I didn't know the rule, but so what I did is I just watched the last 10 to 12 minutes, and I saw Minnesota come back, and then I watched them fail in the 4-minute offense. This is one of the things I hate watching a game when I already know the outcome, because if you just watch the fourth quarter or maybe the whole game, the Vikings had the lead with 4 minutes left in the game, and it really looked like the Vikings should have won that game. Then they run on first down, they run on second down, they throw an incompletion on third down, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, you're supposed to be an offensive mind, because it really looked obvious that you throw on second down, not third. So, but give the Lions all that credit. I mean, the offense is really good. The offense is really good. I still think there's questions about the defense. I'm not sold on it, but you have a young defense, and that's important. I saw early the fake punt. That was just I mean, look, when you're a bad team and you need a spark, doing that crazy stuff makes sense. Putting yourself in a hole early, that I just don't like it. But I mean, hey, listen, you currently are not only. Let me make sure I'm giving you a facts. Let me make sure I'm giving you facts right now, because I could be wrong. I want to make sure I'm right. Not only are you in the NFC North lead, you are the number one team in the NFC home field right now. Home field. I mean, your schedule is tough. I mean, you know, don't sleepwalk against Tennessee, a really good defense. I know they lost big to Buffalo, really good defense. All right. At Green Bay, at Houston, those tough games. Jacksonville right now looks bad. Colts right now look bad. You have the final 4 games of the season. Ooh, Thanksgiving against the Bears. That's going to be a lot of fun. You guys need to win on Thanksgiving. Green Bay, Buffalo at home, and then at Chicago. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see this. I have to scroll down a little more. At San Francisco. Ooh, you end the season with some tough games, but I mean, it's a long season. It's going to be tough, but you're the number one team in the NFC. How good is that? That's a good feeling, man. Congratulations. The best part is you get to be a Rams fan on Thursday night. Oh God. Yeah. Okay. So your quarterback is Jaden Dent. Yeah, you would have won. Yeah. Yeah. The way I understand it, we have to hear what's going on. If you have a waiver wire spot, hopefully you already picked up Mariota. But if you haven't, if you have the ability to pick up Mariota, do it. I don't know the extent of the injury. Oh, you're in good shape. You're in good shape. I mean, I mean, Derrick Henry scored a touchdown. I do expect him to score another touchdown. It would be a tie for an NFL record. But you're 5 weeks ahead. This is going to, I'll be honest with you, like, this is going to be a lot of fun because he scored a touchdown every single week. Probably going to get one. Godwin, I do think it's going to be a shootout. So, if it is a shootout, it kind of benefits you because you have Godwin who will put up some points and Henry will put up some points. You're up by 5. Basically, here's how I would grade this matchup. Basically it's a wash. 5 points, just forget about it. Godwin and Henry versus Lamar. If Lamar has a turnover, depending on your league, I've been in some leagues where it's -2 for a pick, and then I've been in some leagues where it's -6, which same as a touchdown. I don't know your league scoring it, but more than likely, if Lamar has a turnover, you will win. Because I do think it's going to be a shootout. I really do. I think it's going to be a shootout. And if that's the case, Godwin's going to have some. Godwin scores, you probably win. Henry will probably score. He would tie an NFL record, 7 straight games of rushing touchdown. So I'm pulling for you, man. You've been pretty consistent, so I hope to see you tomorrow, and we are celebrating a victory. Lamar has a turnover, you probably win. Cam, what's up, brother? Oh God. That is just brutal, man. All right, should I trade JT and Njoku for Garrett Wilson, Chase Brown, Demario Douglas, Jonathan Brooks, and yeah. I'm not going to go over this in too much detail. Absolutely, you do this. Jonathan Taylor's health is in question. Same with Njoku. You instantly improve your tight end position. Jonathan Brooks. I don't know if you were here earlier, but Jonathan Brooks, you have a big unknown here. I mean, you could have a guy when he gets into the game, is he just returning kickoffs and doing nothing, or are you getting a top 10 fantasy player? You have no idea. They like Chase Brown more than they like Zach Moss. I like the opposite. I still think you get a good receiver in Garrett Wilson. And I want to say Demario Douglas. I don't think that's right, but I know who you're talking about. So, yeah, absolutely do this. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me know if it goes through. Let me know if it goes through. After it goes through, if it goes through today on this show, can you send me your full lineup? If it does, if you have to wait till tomorrow, let me know when it does go through, and let's look at your lineup and let's get you back on the right track. Because if you start a day off, you may not be in good shape. Hopefully you won. I'm gonna kind of assume since the first thing I see is this, that maybe you didn't have a good week. But send me your lineup after you make this trade, and let's get you lined up so you definitely win next week. Fuck! I watched the last 12 minutes and I saw the craziness, and they kind of I didn't know this rule. So if you're not aware, because I was not, when okay, so what happened is the final play of the game, the Minnesota Vikings spiked the ball with 1 second left, and when you're not set up properly, I thought it was a 10-second runoff. It turns out to be that as long as your players are set, there's not a 10-second runoff, even if you don't have 7 people on the line of scrimmage. I was not aware of that rule, but apparently it's a rule, and I don't know if the Vikings knew that and planned it that way just so they could get the spike. But I didn't know that. If I was a Lions fan at the time, I would have been going ballistic. But the way they explained it, it's a valid rule. There's no problem. I was not aware of that though. So what happened, if you're not aware, you have to have 7 people on the line of scrimmage. The Vikings did not, and they spiked the ball with 1 second left. So what Funk was on the live stream yesterday was explaining that, hey, there's some craziness at the end of the game. There was. The Vikings, by the way, why did they throw the ball in the middle of the field? That was just stupid. Normally, what I would have liked to see in a situation like that is some sort of a trick play where, you throw the ball and then you lateral, and like 9 out of 10 times it doesn't work. But that's what they should have done. Instead, they threw a ball to the middle of the field. The guy, I was surprised they were able to get the spike down with 1 second left, and they didn't have 7 people on the line of scrimmage. One person was like 10 yards back, just set. So it led me to believe that the Vikings practices. Kevin O'Connell's an excellent coach. But anyway, yeah, I watched that. I love the fact that the Vikings either choked on the 4-minute offense or Detroit's defense stood up in the 4-minute offense. Because when I watched the last 10 to 12 minutes, and it really looked like momentum shifted towards the Vikings. All you have to do is get a couple first downs, and they weren't able to get one. And run pass. I mean, come on. But yeah, Funk says, "Let's go Rams." By the way, very good game in LA. And you're right, it's a perfect week for them to steal. Cooper Kupp will be coming back, I think. Rams won a close game in Vegas, but I actually have no idea if Cooper Kupp played. I should know that. I didn't watch any of that game. You're right, though. This is a type of game. You know, by the way, if you're not aware, Kevin O'Connell was in LA. You know, one thing McVay's had this is kind of I don't want to compare the two, but one thing McVay and Andy Reid have in common is that when they play against some of their disciples, they usually do really well. So yeah, you're right. Every team that's played the Lions has lost. I did not know that. That's really fun. That's a fun stat. That's very interesting. I did not know that. My picks video is coming out tomorrow. I know you want me to pick against the Lions, but I don't know if I am this week. If I pick the Lions to win and they lose, you blame me. You should blame me, but if I do check out my video. I usually do, and thank you for that, man. And I'm gonna level with you, man. I can't wait for Thursday Night Football. It's going to be a good one. I'm going to be honest with you. I have a guy I work with, really cool guy. He's a Vikings fan, but I kind of want to see the Rams win because I want to see the NFC West chaos. Like I want to see the Rams win and have that just be a cluster. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to see an 8-9 NFC West team go to the playoffs. That would be fun. But I mean, I'm kind of pulling for the Rams this week. Nothing to do with Detroit. Just I just want the chaos. But I didn't know that. That's a fun stat. That's something that sports bettors should be made aware of. If you don't mind, can you give me that stat again? Denver Gator! Denver Gator for the first hour and a half, we were talking about the Division III women's lacrosse final. You missed it. God, I love it when Denver Gators here. By the way, I didn't know that quarterback that you're talking about. I did watch a little bit of the video you sent me. Like that quarterback is impressive. That quarterback is impressive. If they're smart, they do that. But the problem is that I don't think Shakir Sanders or Cam Ward has solidified themselves enough to get as much. Neither one of them are going to have near the ranking of Caleb Williams. That's the problem. I think like Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels' draft value is going to be significantly higher than Ward or Shakir Sanders, which I think are the two top quarterbacks right now. Shakir Sanders' value is going to skyrocket because when he's interviewed. Oh, did you watch any of the Hard Knocks with the Giants? And they interviewed. They showed them interviewing Jaden Daniels, and Jaden Daniels just nailed the interview process. That is very, very important. That's almost more important than throwing the ball at the combine. And I think Shakir Sanders is going to interview lights out. I think that once I think Mel Kiper, I think ranked him number 14. I think NFL boards will probably have him somewhere similar, and then they're going to interview him, and then that's just going to jump up. And the same thing's happened with Jaden Daniels. I mean, Jaden Daniels last year just interviewed off the charts. I don't. It's not always important. I remember Kyler Murray had some terrible interviews, still went number 1 overall. I don't know how well Caleb Williams interviewed or didn't interview. I remember Jalen Hurts. Everybody across the board said Jalen Hurts probably, because remember he was picked in the middle of the second round, like before the draft process started. Like he was probably like a fourth, fifth round pick, and he aced the combine, but people raved about him in the interview process. Ideally, the Panthers, what they're going to do is they're going to bring in Shadir Sanders, they're going to bring in Cam Ward, and they're going to rant and rave about how both these guys are franchise quarterbacks, and then try to do the same thing. The problem is with the Panthers is they have a historically bad defense, and this is the draft to really fix things. So their offensive line isn't bad. The offensive line isn't bad. It really isn't. They lost their starting right tackle. I can't think of the kid's name, but he was a starting right tackle. Then he got hurt. They put in the guy he's now starting at the right tackle for the Giants, and he played really, really well. I thought he was an improvement, but the offensive line's not bad. It's really they have. I think a good offensive line is, maybe above average-ish. When I look at the Raiders, I'm not looking at their offensive line as being a major issue. I mean, could they improve it? Sure. They don't have like a Chiefs caliber off, at least Chiefs interior three. That the left tackle is needs some work, and Taylor, for as much money as they're paying him, should be better, but that's neither here nor there. But with the Raiders, I think they need to fix the quarterback position. But if I'm the Raiders, I don't think you have to draft somebody. I really don't. I think there could be some options. Geno Smith is a free agent after this year. A lot of people aren't talking about that, but I mean, could he come in for a few years and be serviceable? Possibly. A lot of people, I personally think Drew Lock should have been given a decent chance in Denver, but I don't know. I know Gruden was really high on him. I don't think that has any impact, but that would be somebody you may want to at least consider. Carson Wentz took a snap on the Chiefs offense. I mean, he was going to be NFL MVP. I mean, I wouldn't go that route, but I'm just throwing it out there. You got people asking CJ Stroud or Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's a free agent after this year. So, Champagne, I'm going to answer all your questions, brother. I'm going to answer all your questions. Sorry for the rants. You're being humbled. Yeah, they do. No. But I'll tell you what, you're on the right path. If J.K. Dobbins stays healthy, I would not be surprised if he leads the NFL in rushing if he stays healthy. I think he's that good, and your defense is really good, and there's no ceiling on how good Justin Herbert can be. You have some massive question marks at receiver. But yeah. I'm going to answer every single question, by the way, folks. I may get to you late, but I promise you, I will get to every single question. Who do you prefer the rest of the season, DJ Moore or Pickens? That is a great question. I really can't give you a great answer, full disclosure, but after what I saw last night, I would say Pickens. I think Pickens has more upside. He has more potential. Moore has a higher floor. I've been hard on Caleb Williams, and I think my criticism is justified. And don't get me wrong, I think he's doing a good job. But after what I saw with Russell Wilson, I understand why the Steelers put him in. It took some guts. They put up 37 against what I thought was a good Jets defense. Now I'm starting to reconsider because I watched the Jets defense a couple times. This wasn't the same defense I saw last year. Last year, this was one of the best defenses in football. It's not one of the best defenses in football. The Bears have a great defense, but I would still go with Pickens. I think his upside's higher. I mean, he'll have some games where he has like 3 catches, 30 yards, and a couple drops, and you'll want to pull your hair out. But I think if Russell Wilson, and by the way, if Justin Fields comes back as a starter, I would still go with Pickens. I think you still got more upside. Let's say you got both. If you're in a week where you're projected to win by a lot, I would go with Moore because I think he has a higher floor. If you have Pickens, I might be a little more apt, if I'm down to roll the dice with somebody like Pickens. And keep in mind, I think you're playing Pickens will go against better defenses in the AFC North. Just full disclosure, but I like Pickens. This is another great question. I have no idea what to expect out of Darnold against the Rams. I mean, this is going to be a fun game. It's on Thursday night. I'm not really sure what to expect because what do you do with the team that really had this game wrapped up? I mean, is this a team that comes out of a basically a heavyweight fight and lays an egg? I mean, I remember. You remember when Minnesota? It was a couple of years ago. Minnesota beat the Bills and had that magical come from behind victory. Do you remember that? And then the next week they played Dallas and lost like 47-9 or something. Do you remember that? I don't know what to expect out of Minnesota this week. I really don't. Could they come up fired up and look to tear apart a team that's actually starting to get healthy, but still have some question marks? Houston's at home against a bad defense. Don't buy into that 10 points to the Miami Dolphins as turned around their defense. No, there's a lot of holes on that defense. But what I'd worry about with CJ Stroud is this: do they get up by 14, 21 points and Mixon ends up with, 25 to 30 carries and CJ Stroud's, doing what I'm doing in the fourth quarter right now? I could legitimately see that. Would I do it? I would lean against it, but I mean, I can make a strong case that Sam Darnold, you should go with Sam Darnold. I really could. I mean, I could sit here and I could make a very strong argument for Sam Darnold. What did he do last week? 22 out, 27, 259, 1 pick, 1 interception, 4 carries, 39 yards. That's not bad. It's not bad. Let me see here. Five games this season. He's thrown 12 touchdowns. Okay, I'm sorry. This is recent games, and it only gives the last 5. That's why I'm okay. Yeah, 12 touchdowns, 1370. These are good numbers, man. I mean, these are good numbers. I'm gonna level with you. I wouldn't do it. And the reason why is that you have a big unknown on Thursday night. I mean, you could see him throw for 4 touchdowns. Remember, he went to college at USC. God, he was so impressive at USC. But I don't know your situation either, Champagne. I recognize the thumbnail and the name. It's a great name. But I mean, if you're projected to lose by 30 points and you got to roll the dice, maybe you go with Darnold, but I wouldn't do it. I don't see any way that CJ Stroud just lays a complete egg and has a terrible game. I could see a situation where Darnold doesn't play very well. Look, Thursday night games are kind of weird. You're coming off your first loss. You have no idea. With CJ Stroud, you know that you're going against a bad defense and you're at home. So, I think the offense is going to look a little better, but I'm not sold I'm not sold on the defense. You have some injuries. I also could see a really bad situation. I hope this. Please don't let this happen, but I could see a situation where Tua comes back and gets hurt again, and if he does get hurt again, I could see the whole team just collapse. The answer is no. They got problems. I'm not sold on the offensive line. Tyreek Hill's body language just never looks good. I didn't watch the game, but I mean, I know Mozart had a fumble. The defense played well, but I'm not sold on the defense. So I expect the offense to be better. I predicted Dolphins at the beginning of the year won't go to the playoffs. The AFC is a little different than the NFC. I think that you could have a 9 or 10 win team sneak into the AFC playoffs, maybe. The NFC, I don't see that because I think whoever wins the NFC West could be an 8-9 win team this year, and I think that you're going to have a 10 or 11 win team be on the outside looking in. There could be a 9 or 10 win team get to the playoffs in the AFC this year, but it won't be the Dolphins. I honestly, I would not be surprised if the Dolphins after this year decide to move on from Mike McDaniel. I know that sounds crazy, but I don't like what I see out of Miami right now. I really, really hope that Tua just stays healthy. That's all I really want to see. But no, they're not going to the playoffs. They're not going to the playoffs, but could they go 8-9, 9-8, and save McDaniel's job? Sure. Oh, absolutely. He'll be. I would not be surprised if San Francisco brings him back. I've been saying for a while, like he just makes sense in Detroit. There's going to be a handful of teams. I actually think that there's a serious possibility Saleh gets interviewed. I don't think he'll get a head coaching job, but he'll get interviewed. I have no idea if Saleh wants to go to college or not, but it'd be interesting. A lot of these colleges want a big time name, and Saleh does have that going for him. You could get a team. I don't know how much you've listened to me talk about college football, but I've been saying Deion Sanders should go to Florida because Florida needs a big name. I'm throwing that out there. Mississippi State could be looking for a new head coach, but you could get a Power 5 school that says, hey, look, let's just get a big name and we'll worry about recruiting and all that stuff. But I have no idea. I've never talked to Robert Saleh, so I have no idea if college is something he would be interested in or not. Let's just throw it out the window for right now. 100% coordinator job. With what's going on with the Jets and the weird situation, he might be somebody to consider for an NFL head coaching job. I think he'll get interviewed, but ultimately, I think he will get signed as an NFL defensive coordinator. I think he'll be a defensive coordinator on somebody's 2025 staff. I have no idea who. But more than likely, there'll be a team that'll make a coaching hire, and they'll reach out and they'll say, hey, you want to come in? But he'll get some head coaching interviews, believe it or not. And then but I think he'll be defensive coordinator in 2025. I just don't know for who, unless he wants to go the college route. I think so. I didn't, full disclosure, I did not watch Jags in New England because I do play-by-play for the Chiefs game. I work late on Saturday. If the Chiefs had a bye or were playing on Monday night, I would DVR that game, which I do have on DVR. I just didn't have a chance to watch it. So I couldn't tell you how he played. I also have no idea how Drake May played. I do know this, is that May has a lot of value. Hunter Henry's a really good tight end. What they're doing offensively looks really bad right now, but he's worth keeping. He'll have a few weeks where he does well. I don't think he'll never be that 120. He'll never be that guy. It's like, oh, he blew up for 125 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's not going to be that guy. But yeah, he's worth keeping. That's a good question. I like Mooney a lot, and I thought Atlanta, they struggled against the Seahawks, which I was really surprised about. I will say this. I firmly believe that when Nico Collins comes back, Tank Dell's production is going to dip. I should know this. I don't know exactly when Collins is coming back. If you're going to do it this week, that would be interesting because you have the Texans playing against a bad Colts defense. All right. Chicago is playing against Washington, which is going to be interesting. I'm not sold on Washington's defense. I know they've had a few really good games. I'm sorry. He used to be in Chicago. I am so sorry. That's embarrassing. You're going against Tampa Bay. Now, last time Atlanta played Tampa Bay, that's embarrassing. Maybe I should go back to energy drinks. Last time, what did you do against Tampa Bay? What was it? 2 touchdowns, 120 some yards. Tampa has a bunch of starters coming back. Pay attention to how they play against Baltimore tonight, because if they look bad and Lamar Jackson throws for over 300, then yeah. Long term, I would say it's a better investment. But one thing about Mooney and Atlanta is everything's kind of up and down. So I like it. I don't love it. Not really giving you a great answer, but I do know this is that when Nico Collins comes back, his production will drop. So. All right. Mike, it's so good to see you again, brother. I am sorry that it took me so long to get to you. First off, your season's not over. You're 3-4, so we got to get you into the playoffs, okay? My team is good. My receivers can't pick it up. Tyreek Hill and Devontae Smith. Yeah, Devontae Smith, I don't know the numbers, but I know that Jalen Hurts threw for like 114 yards. That's just, yeah. And I know Miami scored 10 points. So yeah, I would want to pull my hair out. I get it. All right, let's see here. CJ Stroud has not been a top tier quarterback because they're leaning on the running game a little more. This week, Detroit plays Tennessee. A tough defense, but just a horrific offense. Detroit's favored by 11.5 according to ESPN Bet. I'll have my picks video out tomorrow. Please check it out. All right. I can see a situation where CJ Stroud does not have a good week against a bad Colts defense. I could see the Texans getting up like 21-0 and just saying, hey, you know what? We're just going to rely on Joe Mixon. That said, I would not bench Stroud for golf. personal opinion. Tyreek Hill and Devontae Smith. Tyreek Hill's getting Tua back supposedly this week. Tyreek Hill may have a monster performance. He could do nothing. I have no idea what to expect out of Miami at this point. Arizona plays tonight on Monday Night Football. Miami's at home, by the way. I shouldn't spell this out for you, but you know, start C.J. Stroud, start Tyreek Hill. Devontae Smith at Cincinnati, that's a tough one because I don't think that you're not blowing the Bengals out. You're just not. This by the way is a really interesting, fun game. But I don't know what else you're who else is on your roster, but your season 100% is not over. Okay. Number one, Tua comes back. Tyreek Hill could be the best receiver in fantasy football. You never know. Arizona, pay attention to how they look, because if they don't look good against the Chargers, imagine how they're going to look against Miami in Miami for an early game with Tua coming back. So pay attention to that. So I think you're in good shape. Devontae Smith, you may have to go another option right there. I'm a little surprised they ran the ball so much, but I mean, it was effective. You're blowing the Giants out. Giants don't have an offense. I will tell you this. I 100% guarantee you he will have a more productive week than he did last week, barring injury. Don't go into panic mode. This is frustrating. Don't go into panic mode. Don't go into panic mode. But let's get you turned around, because as soon as you go 4-4, your playoffs start probably week 12. It could start week 14. I just want to get you into the playoffs because, look, you got C.J. Stroud, you have Tyreek Hill. Those two guys can win you games by themselves. You have a solid roster. You've had some bad weeks. You had some injuries. We'll get you turned around. I would recommend Stroud. I would recommend Tyreek Hill. What other options do you have at receiver? This is a tough one. I'm kind of leaning towards Bigsby. I've been really impressed. He's got a little more size. The one thing about Cincinnati is I keep expecting to go with Zach Moss over Brown, but they like Brown better. I'm a little confused by it. I full disclosure, I didn't watch the game. I'm looking at the box scores here, and I'm like, wow, Bigsby had a good game. I'm assuming ETN didn't play. I mean, I'm just assuming ETN didn't play. I mean, 118. Let's take a look here. I should know this, but I'm assuming ETN didn't even play. No, he didn't. 118 and 2 touchdowns. He's a bigger dude. Played really well. You know what I'm worried about, Champagne, is that my bias towards Zach Moss is affecting my judgment here. But I mean, they haven't been happy with ETN, even though he's a home run back. Trevor Lawrence's teammate in Clemson. I'm leaning towards Bigsby, but those are two pretty good options, man. I'll be honest with you. I would lean towards Bigsby. I wonder if my bias against Brown is affecting me, but I would lean towards Bixby. He's a bigger back, and I mean, they got some really good weapons in Jacksonville. I just don't understand why they're not putting up more points. With Cincinnati, I do know this is that they like Zach Moss a lot more in pass protection. Um, why they're not using him over Brown, I don't know. I know a lot of it has to do with the home run speed, but yeah, I'll be honest with you. I would lean towards Bigsby, but either one's it's not bad. I wouldn't be mad at you if you picked up Brown. I'd lean towards Bigsby. Yeah, Brock Bowers. Oh yeah. What was your trade option, Cam? I apologize. Oh, you already, dude. You got two stud tight ends. Yeah. Make that. By the way, make that trade, please. Please let me know. Chat, I am up by 160 and projected to win by 43. My opponent has 4 players. Ooh, God. Should I play Flowers just to take away from Lamar or just play Evans? All right. Smart question. Very smart question. The Smitty. Let me know what you do, by the way. I apologize that it took me so long to get to you. Okay, so you're up by 160 and projected to win by 43. Your opponent has 4 players going. One is Lamar. I love the fact that you should just stick it by playing Flowers. All right. I love that thought process. I want to know what other people think. I'm going to tell you what I would do, and I would go with Evans because you're more likely to get points with Evans than you are Flowers. All right. Here's the drill. You're up. Take the higher floor. That's what I would do. I want to know what other people think, but it's smart. I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched a lot of it. I didn't know your quarterback was a true freshman because I saw clips of him before. I didn't know he was a true freshman. I didn't see any of the true running back. I didn't watch all of that, but I'm going to get back. I'm going to go back and watch some more of it because I did like the quarterback. And me and you are both on board with Dion coming to Gainesville. So I know that for a fact. Oh man, I thank you so much. Denver Gator says it's awesome to see Dan help everyone with their fantasy leagues. Football is his passion. That is true. You guys have helped this channel grow to 2,000. Thank you so much, by the way, for everyone subscribing, giving me the thumbs up, subscribing and sharing. And by the way, thank you so much. This is my boy Max, big 49ers fan. Says 49ers is going to be Max. I'm going to tell you this tomorrow. And I'm going to continue to tell you this. You're in really good shape. You lost to the best team in the National Football League currently. Brandon Ayuk out for the year, but look at the NFC West. Who's in first place in the NFC West right now? That's the Seattle Seahawks. They're 1 game ahead of you. You know who you beat by double digits just a few weeks ago? The Seattle Seahawks. Who are you better than? The Seattle Seahawks. And you're only 1 game back. Do you know who you play in a couple weeks? The Seattle Seahawks. You're not in bad shape. I'll be honest. I do think the Rams are going to win that division. I predicted that. They're getting healthy. But do not jump ship because that NFC West is overall, like, I have no confidence in Seattle really being that good of a team. I don't know what happened against Atlanta, but do not give up hope yet. You're 3-4. You're 1 game back of a team that you are definitely better than. And if I'm correct, you play them in a couple of weeks in San Francisco, so don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You lost against the best team in the NFL right now, and things can change. Things can change. Like, the Chiefs have had a few injuries at the wide receiver position. They're not losing to the Raiders, but do not give up hope. I love Max. Max is like the biggest pimp in the world. I'm going to take a quick commercial break. When I come back, we'll be back with Hour 3. I'm answering every single question, so stay tuned. As Afternoon Delight is on a commercial break, we want to remind you that BetUS is a proud affiliate of Dan Talks Football. I made my first $100 deposit and it was fast and easy, but check it out for yourself. The video's in the description below. Check out BetUS and start winning today. The award-winning NFL Week 8 Picks video is coming out tomorrow. Make sure you watch it and drop a comment on how you think your team will do this week, or pick all 16 Week 8 games. Your comments help. Check it out. It's coming tomorrow. All right. Yes. Hour 3 of Afternoon Delight is here. I'm going to be very clear. I'm answering every single question. Every single question. And I apologize for how long it's taken me to get to everyone, but I will answer every single question. All right. I missed some questions here and then some comments here, so I want to make sure I get everybody here. I got this one. I would lean towards Bigsby. By the way, Champagne 7, let me know which one you do, because I would not blame you one bit if you want Chase Brown. I'm leaning towards Bigsby. The Cam, do me a favor, because you commented on the chat, on a trade earlier in the chat. I strongly suggest you make that trade and let me know when you do, and we'll go from there. I didn't know you had Bowers, but yeah, you had McBride would be an upgrade over, I forget the other tight end that was in the trade, but it was like a 2-for-5 trade. So yeah, make that trade. Come back and let me know after you make the trade. This is the one I missed. Should I drop Laporta for Ertz or Freiermuth? Did he get hurt? If he didn't get hurt, then absolutely not. But if he just didn't have a good game and it looks like they're phasing him out, that I understand the logic here. But I mean, okay, one catch, 25 yards. No, I didn't. Full disclosure, I just watched the last part of the game, and I don't see that he got hurt. And no, he just had a bad game. I wouldn't recommend it personally, but I understand the logic behind it. Like, this is a terrible season. 14 catches, 224 and a touch. Oh God, I understand. Geez, I'm gonna level with you, Champagne. I really thought, now Travis Kelce, me and Travis Kelce share a birthday. So I know when his birthday is. He turned 35 a couple weeks ago. I really thought this would be the year that Laporta would be the best tight end in football. I know he's also been battling a little bit of injuries. I didn't know the production was that low. I really didn't. I'm assuming that both these guys are available on the waiver wire. Is there any chance you can? I like Freiermuth more than I like Ertz. Just younger. I like the way the offense looked against the Jets with Russell Wilson. I was really surprised. But if you could pick Freiermuth up in the waiver wire, which I'd be really surprised, but I'm guessing somebody may have offered you a trade. I I mean, here's the deal. You also have a tough defensive matchup against Tennessee. I want to tell you, I'm gonna say what I want to say, okay? And hold off. Just do me a favor, because if this is a trade, you're going to be able to make this trade next week, okay? You're at home against tough Tennessee Titans defense, okay? If he lays an egg against the Titans, make a move, you'll be able to pick up Ertz or Freiermuth, okay? If it's a waiver wire pickup and you have a spot available, pick up Freiermuth, because I do think his production is going to continue to go up. The ceiling on Laporta is immense, but I have no idea how bad he's produced so far. I really didn't expect that. Do me a favor, wait one more week. He does one catch against the Titans, make the move. I fully expect the Laporta production to massively go up. I mean, Detroit's going to put up some points. They have a good offensive line. I really don't have an explanation. I really thought Laporta would just possibly blow up this year. So give me one more. Give Laporta one more week. Then I would recommend Freiermuth over Ertz. But both these guys, you should be able to trade for either one of these guys. So, by the way, to Smitty, let me know what you do. Let me know what you do. Brandon Hallam, Tua is a moron if he doesn't wear a Guardian cap. I would port him. Brandon, I'm not a fan of the Guardian caps personally. That said, Tua should not. I don't think Tua should play. Period. Guardian hat, Guardian cap, non-Guardian cap. Tua should not play. Period. I'm very disappointed. I know he was cleared. I know the Dolphins want him to play. I know he wants to play. I think the Dolphins should make him wear one. I really do. I'm not a fan of the Guardian caps, but you're right. In this particular situation, Tua should take every precautionary step available. Every time he gets a concussion, I cringe. Look, I'm one of these weird people that I think that when these players step on the field, I don't have a problem with a player getting injured or hurt because they know the risk. They're well compensated for the risk. Even if you're a backup or a practice squad player, you make enough money. I kind of want to go on a long rant here because I don't know if you've ever seen Spartacus. It's a fantastic show, and I know it sounds crazy, but I mean, these gladiators step on the field. You know, it's a lot of time it was just for honor and privilege, but you know the risks. With Tua, I don't care what people are telling him and everything. There's a lot of players after the game are in really bad shape. I remember you probably never heard of this guy, Chris Miller. Used to be the quarterback of the Falcons. He says he keeps a card in his wallet with his name, phone number, address, wife's name, kid's name, because he'll just be driving and just black out. and he had multiple concussions. None of them looked as bad as Tua's. I can go over a lot of NFL players that have had just massive health problems after the game's over. And look, if you're Tua, you don't have the issues. You have $100 million. You can do public speaking. You can do coaching. You can do TV. I'm not a fan of the Guardian caps myself. I really think the Dolphins should just make them wear one. I agree with you. I really do. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like the idea of making a player take. I don't like the idea of forcing a player to do something because you know the risks. I would take the risks myself. Now, keep in mind, there's a 0% chance I could do anything on an NFL field, but I would have risked it back in my younger days. No questions asked. And honestly, it wouldn't have even been for the money. It just would have been for an opportunity to play. You have $100 million. You have multi-generational money. Step away. Yeah. Seriously, you're right. The Dolphins should do everything humanly possible. I really wish I could get through to Tua and say, look, I don't care who cleared you. I've watched these injuries. You couldn't stay healthy at Alabama. You're playing against college kids with an NFL offensive line, and you couldn't stay healthy. You have been injured every single season except for last year that you've played in the NFL. You have had concussions that make people cringe. People like myself who see nothing wrong with players risking their physical wellness and well-being out on the field, because it comes all the way back from the gladiator days where people risked their lives for people's entertainment. People died just so a crowd could cheer. We are in a brutal society. Tua, step away, man. Don't be part of this anymore, man. So yeah, Brandon, I don't recognize you, man. That's a great comment. I want to argue that. I can't do it. I hope to hear more from you, man. And if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, Brandon, please come back into the chat. Watch my video tomorrow if you haven't. If you're new to the channel, but check out my videos. I'd love to know what you think, and I hope to hear more from you. Obviously with bias, but I'm giving flowers to our DC, Jesse Minner. Obviously, he took over the head coaching role for 5 to 10 minutes when Harbaugh had that episode. Absolutely very early, but he might get called soon. No, he's a guy that's actually really, really high on the what do you call it, the coaching carousel. He's going to get some interviews. No, he's going to get some interviews. You're right. I really think that he's going to get some calls and some interviews. I'm telling you this right now. I've watched the Chargers under the previous regime. I can't think of the guy's name. Brandon, was it Staley? Or no, not Brandon Staley. Was it Brandon Staley? The defense looks light years better. Another thing is that if I'm correct, he has a college background. If I remember correctly, the name rings a bell. I want to say like they worked together at Michigan. I could be wrong about that, but this is somebody who could. The college contracts, the college game is very similar to the pro game. I think that you're going to see a lot of transferring between like college coaches coming to the NFL, and I think you're going to see a lot of NFL coaches go to the college ranks. This is a guy because he's worked with Harbaugh. If I'm correct, he came with him from Michigan. I could be wrong on that, but if that's the case, then some of these programs that have a lot of money that are looking to improve. I talked about Florida. Mississippi State's a team, an SEC school. All SEC schools have money. Like even like Vanderbilt and Mississippi State. I know Vandy won last week, but I'm throwing it out there anyway because traditionally they're not a winning school. You can get $5, $6, $7, $8 million a year. You can get like 20 to 30 million guaranteed. Mississippi State would throw out that type of money. Some of the schools in the Big Ten would throw out that type of money. If he came from Michigan, if I go 7-5 this year, they may fire everybody after this year. That's not an exaggeration, unfortunately. I was just reading something on social media. Oh God, the USC head coach is in hot water. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Oklahoma lost at home by 25 points. Just throwing it out there. But yeah, he's going to get he's not going to last because I think Harbaugh is going to stay with the Chargers for a while. Rhinos Roundtable, what's up, brother, man? The Colts won a game. It was very ugly. ARS played better. Here's the deal. Once you get Jonathan Taylor back, you're going to be a run-heavy team with some playmakers at receiver. But Anthony Richardson does not give you the best chance to win. He really doesn't. And if you look at the AFC right now, I'm just going to have some fun. I'll go look at the playoff picture, which is kind of ridiculous to do at right now. But right now, they would be the 7 seed. They would play the Houston Texans. Very fun playoff game, by the way. I still don't understand why you don't start Flacco. And then you can integrate Anthony Richardson in sections of the game where he can use his running ability. And, look, 2 to 4 runs a game on designed quarterback runs are a lot better than 60, 70, 80 snaps where he's going to run the ball. And I even saw a few plays just on highlights where he's trying to run guys over, and it's like, look, I know you're 250, I know you're 260, I get it. Don't take any more hits. And I mean, look, the defense has problems. This is a great defensive draft. Start Flacco. When you get Jonathan Taylor back, run him into the ground. I mean, that's what you seem intent on doing. and you got a chance in the playoffs. You start Anthony Richardson, you have no chance in the playoffs. Good luck against Houston, by the way. Good luck against Houston. I just don't like Seattle since they seem. I'm the same way. I was kind of surprised because they got Leonard Williams back. He got a sack. Boy Mafe had that sack strip that resulted in a touchdown. He had 2 sacks. Boy Mafe is a guy I've loved. He came back, looked like a world beater. I'm still not sold on Seattle, but we'll wait and see what happens. That whole NFC West is going to be so much fun because I picked the Rams to win it. The 49ers have the best team. Seattle's in the lead. And then you have Arizona, who can beat any team in the NFC West and has a guy in Kyler Murray who can do so many things but doesn't seem to play well. It's a wildly entertaining division right now. Away when you're talking about Devontae Smith and Tyreek Hill, I'm very concerned about these situations. Hard to know who to choose regarding CJ Stroud or Goff. I feel like go with the hot hand. I also have Aaron Jones, Jameson Williams, Devin Singletary. Yeah, and with Singletary, I can understand you had some problems. Also had Chuba Hubbard and James Cook. All right. Yeah, Singletary you can drop. Absolutely. All right, so look, Here I'm going to tell you what I would do. Tyreek Hill play. Looks like they're bringing Tua back for some stupid reason. Go with Stroud. Higher floor, lower ceiling. But which defense is better, Titans or Colts? It's easily Titans. I would really lean towards CJ Stroud, even though there's a chance that they get up early and they just run the ball. Okay. Tyreek Hill and Tua could blow up. All right. Aaron Jones, Chuba Hubbard, and James Cook are all really, really, really good players. All right. James Cook, you want to get him back into the lineup. All right. As a matter of fact, I think he played in that touchdown. Am I wrong about that? Chuba Hubbard, get involved. I know everything in Carolina looks bleak right now. Aaron Jones, I believe he's healthy, so you want to play him. You can drop Singletary. Jameson Williams, I get what you want to do. You want to go with the Golf Williams matchup. I wouldn't blame you, but I would look when you're trying to get when you're trying to break free of a slump. It's often that you want to take chances. I advise just the opposite and go with the high floor guys. Like let's go with CJ Stroud. Aaron Jones, I think he's healthy. It's a tough matchup against the Rams on Thursday night. You have no idea what to do. Let's go with James Cook. I would stick with Hubbard, even though you never know. You have Brock Bowers, so you probably get some points on the Chiefs. Not a lot. Chiefs defense is really good. But yeah, I get where you're going, where you're going. But Devontae Smith, I wouldn't bank on. Tyreek Hill, I would. Look, here's what you do. With Tyreek Hill, you have a lot of variance, but you have this massive high ceiling. Go with guys at high floors. All right, let's go with CJ Stroud. Brock Bowers probably going to get you some points. All right, go with Chuba Hubbard and let's go with James Cook. And let me know how you do, and let me know what you decide. Let me know if you want to make a trade. Let's see if we can do that. But your lineup's solid. Let's just get you to 4-4, and then with the players that you have a team that once you get into the playoffs and you're healthy, there's not too many tight ends that are going to put more points than Brock Bowers. Remember CJ Stroud had that game last year? It was like 470 and 5 touchdowns. Playing the Colts, it's a really bad defense. Chuba Hubbard and James Cook can both be wildly productive. Same thing with Aaron Jones. Your lineup's solid. Let's just get you to 4-4. Don't panic. Are we selling high on Najee? Jordan, welcome back, brother. If so, who are we targeting? I always love the idea of selling high. I always love the idea of selling high. All right. I love the idea of selling high. I know that another thing about Pittsburgh last week was hold on, let me pull up last week's stats against the Jets. Very, 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 very impressive. Okay. Jalen Warren got 14 touches to Najee Harris's 21. So I think it's smart because do you have anybody tonight? Point 3. But if you don't have anybody tonight, then you could be in a lot of trouble. I know Marvin Harrison Jr. was on the injury report, but I expect him to play. I know he got skunked last week against Green Bay. I would be floored if that happened this week. But do you have anybody in play tonight? Because if you're up by 0.3, correction. You have MHJ still in play, and you're up by 0.3. Okay, you should win that. All right. I need a little more information, but could you sell high on Najee? I'm always a fan of selling high, but if you sell high, that's exactly what I mean. It means that you have to sell and get a high return on investment. Okay. You need to get some studs. Okay. So you have inmates. Okay. I've seen a weird situation where this has happened and you lose. However, I would be floored if you lost points. I have seen it happen before, unfortunately, but I don't expect it to. All right. You should be fine. You got the win, and you got two good quarterbacks, and you have Marvin Harrison Jr., who could potentially be a stud. Okay. I need a little more information because I remember you, but I don't remember your team. I don't have it memorized. I don't know what you would be shooting for. Okay. That's kind of my thought process right now, is because what you want to do in a trade like this is that what you want to do in a trade situation like this is you want to target somebody that has that. Wow. Oh my God. Some really good running backs. Now, Brooks could be a potential steal. Spears probably isn't doing anything for you, but John Robinson and Tyrone Tracy are solid. Okay. Because you do have a running back number one in John Robinson, this makes a lot of sense. Okay, so you have some injury. Juju's not going to play. Ideally, Cooper Kupp plays well, but that's a question mark. You never know what to expect out of JSN. Okay, so I like your quarterbacks. All right. All right. So here's what I would do. Here's what I would do. I don't know how many people are in your league. I'm guessing just from your roster that you're probably on an 8 or 10 person team. You should be in great shape because I like your quarterbacks. You got some good running backs. You got some good receivers. I'm always a fan of selling high. Okay. The only thing I would think of now, because you have some. Here's what I'm thinking. You want it. I think that me and you are thinking the same thing because you have Tyrone Tracy, and you have with Brooks. You have some massive upside. You have some question marks at receiver. All right, you do. So my thought process, and I think we're thinking along the same lines here, is that can we get a stud lockdown number one guy? And we're talking one of the big ones. 10-man league. Yeah. All right. Talking about one of the studs. We're talking Jamar Chase. We're talking CeeDee Lamb. We're talking Justin Jefferson, maybe A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Unless you can get one of these studs, I would not make the move. I think the way your team's set up is that what you're banking on is Jonathan Brooks being a guy. Maybe Spears gets a little more carries. Tyrone Tracy could easily take over for Singletary. So I get your logic. I want to see you get one of the studs at receiver. So in 10-person league, you're only probably going to have a few guys that need a running back. My thought process is one of these teams that you're going against that needs a running back is going to have one of the stud receivers, the CeeDee Lamb, the Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Justin Jefferson. That's what I would make the move for. And I want to be very clear that with the way the Steelers are operating, it looks like they're going to throw the ball just a tad more. Jalen Wright's going to get some touches. They still have Cordell Patterson. They didn't do it Sunday night, but I think sooner or later, I do believe that you'll see Justin Fields get some carries. I also can see a situation where the Steelers want to kind of bubble wrap Najee Harris, kind of save him for the playoffs, because you have a playoff team in Pittsburgh. So I like the idea of what you're thinking. Who are we targeting? I'm looking at your roster. I want to get you a stud number one. A stud one. You're in a PPR. I'm assuming it's PPR, by the way, but if it's a PPR, Amon-Ra, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, that's what I'm looking at, just straight up, straight trade. Then what you want to do is after you make that move, you may want to figure out if you want to upgrade your running back position with somebody who might have a little bit of a higher floor. I would recommend, my Chiefs. I like Kareem Hunt. I think he's very solid. I think he'll continue to be solid. Trying to think of like you could go for I'm trying to think of somebody who may be available that would just be like a really high floor type of guy. Josh Jacobs, maybe. I'm kind of spitballing here, but that's kind of what I would look at. If you're gonna make a bold move like this, and I'm always a big fan, the way I'm looking at your team is yeah, that's the move I would make. And I would be honest with you, you can't go wrong with either guy. I would lean slightly towards CeeDee Lamb, and the reason why I say that is that just a hunch. Dallas, I really think that they're just. I really think that they're just going to kind of force feed CeeDee Lamb a little more. But these are both number one targets. If you're going to make this move, Jordan, and I want to emphasize this. I mean, what did he do? What did he do last week for you? 100 yards and a touchdown? That's a lot of production. All right, that's a lot of production. But if you do make this move, you do it for one of these guys. You do it for a lockdown, guaranteed points receiver, because you got some good guys in John Robinson. I think Tyrone Tracy is going to be solid. Spears is not. Brooks, if depending on how much of this show you listen to, Jonathan Brooks could be a top 10 fantasy player. He could be a bottom 1,000. I mean, seriously, he may, no lie, Jordan Brooks may be a guy that once he starts playing is on special teams only. they may give him the ball 25 times a game. And he's a guy that, I mean, I don't think he's that home run threat, but he's a guy that wouldn't surprise me if he has like home run ability. In college, he looked like he was kind of to me, he was more of a like, I really liked his running style because I hate to compare a guy that's never played in the NFL to a Hall of Famer, but kind of reminded me a little bit like Marcus Allen. I don't know how old you are, but Marcus Allen was never fast, but he always glided. He was 6'2", 210, and Jonathan Brooks is 6 foot. I think they list him at like 215, 220, something like that. But he's a taller back, just really good vision, balance, body control. I don't know if he's got that home run speed. But he's a guy that once he starts playing, he may be getting the ball 25 times a game. I have no clue. Nobody does. But you got him. And you got some players in Bijan and Najee, so I may have to trade Cup as well as Najee for one of them, but I think it's worth it with the Cup injuries. Okay, hold on, I'm losing my voice here. I would, okay. So this is what I would start with is that. But so listen, I'm going to do some videos like this to start off next year. I'm going to talk about how to negotiate trades and how to win your trades because I think it's very important when you're playing fantasy football that I really believe that you have to make smart trades if you really want to win. I've been in some leagues where nobody trades. I've been in some leagues where people make 2 to 3 trades every week. It varies from league to league, but you want to you really have to win your trades. And I had a guy that I was in a fantasy football league with who would do like the stupidest trades. Like he would offer yeah, he would offer something ridiculous. He'd offer his backup quarterback for CD Lamb, and he would do that with everybody in the league. And I asked him about it, and he's like, "Oh, I just like to have some fun. And when if somebody says yes, I know it'll get." And so he would do that like every single week. Finally, he sent me a real trade, and then he hit me up. Why didn't you look at my trade? And it's like, I always delete all your messages. Like, don't be that guy. But I encourage you to win your trades. I would not do a 2-for-1 trade like this. I wouldn't do Najee plus Cup to get a guy. No, I want you to win your trade. This I would do. Najee and Cup for CD and Jalen Warren. I would 100% offer that. Because that guy may be thinking to himself the same thing you're thinking is that, hey, I don't want to bank on Jalen Warren because of injuries, but Cooper Kupp may be a number 1 receiver. Or you don't want Cooper Kupp because of the injuries, but you seem to be okay with Jalen Warren. This is what I would recommend. This is what I would recommend. Now, for this guy, for this right here, I would not recommend getting rid of Najee Harris. For this guy, I would recommend Spears or Tracy or maybe both. Maybe both. And because you're in a 10-man league, it's very there is a possibility you could pick somebody up on the waiver wire, but in this situation you may want to consider getting rid of Tracy and Spears, but I'd ask for a running back in return. I mean I don't know what he has. Maybe he has Pacheco or Singletary or something like that. Now this does have some risk involved if you trade away both guys. I mean, you got to put somebody in the flex. That's either you're going to have to put a receiver in the flex, or you may have to put Brooks in the flex, which you have no idea what he's going to do. But for Tyreek Hill, I would throw out, hey, listen, what about who would you want? Tyrone Tracy. I got Spears. I would hold on to Brooks. I would hold on to John Robinson. I would hold on to Najee Harris. I would throw that out there at first because he's desperate. By the way, Tyrone Tracy did not have a terrible. I don't think he had a bad game last week. What was his numbers last week? I could be lying to you completely. 6 carries, 23 yards. No, that's not good. 3 receptions, 9 yards. Okay, you may have a hard time selling that. But you may also be able to say, hey, look, Tyrone Tracy's going to take over in New York. You get, oh, God, tough Steelers defense. Yeah, that's going to be a hard sell. You can also do the open-ended trade, which honestly I'm not really a fan of because it depends on the individual. But I mean, in this situation, you may just reach out to the guy and say, hey, look, you need some running backs. I want Tyreek Hill. What do you want? And he may come back, with something stupid like, oh, I want Najee Harris and Cooper Kupp and whoever your tight end is. So what I would, Tracy played more than Singletary, and Tracy's taken over for Singletary as the number one guy. So this guy, I don't know how well you know him or don't know him, but you may just say, I don't know what his situation is, but I would reach out and say, hey, look, I'm interested in Tyreek Hill. I got Tyrone Tracy. He's playing. He had some really good games. He's playing. He's going to be the starter going forward. What do you? And he may say no. Then you could fire back and be like, hey, man, I have Spears, who I don't think played at all last week. I didn't get a chance to watch this game. And Spears is out. Okay, so Spears is out. God, I know at the beginning of the year it probably seemed like a good choice, but you probably can't trade Spears. I mean, you may just want to drop them, but more than likely in a 10-person league, in a 10-person league you may have some waiver wires, but I'd hold on to them for right now because you may have some trade value. I doubt the guy's going to want Tracy and Spears, but you could fire back like, hey, Spears, when he's healthy, he's going to get some more touches. I don't think he is, but then you could, if he fires back with he wants Najee Harris, just be like, man, I really like Najee. What else can you give me? But I'll be honest with you, in your situation, would you want to make a move for Tyreek Hill and Najee Harris? That's risky, man. It is risky, but you could do it. You would be rolling the dice. I mean, you're giving up a legit number one running back, but you have unlimited potential with Tyreek Hill. I would reach out to this guy and say, hey, man, look, I know you need a running back. I was gonna flex Tracy this week, but you want to work out something. I would throw Tyrone Tracy out for Tyreek Hill. See what he fires back with. More than likely, he wants something more than Tyrone Tracy. I would not fire back with Najee, but I mean, you may be able to give up somebody like, you might be able to do Marvin Harrison Jr. if you don't want to keep JSN. Juju's probably not going to play next week. Maybe he's a Chiefs fan, and he's by the way, Juju's not playing next week. So this I like because I think that you improve your team immensely. But Tyrone Tracy's becoming the number one guy. There is a possibility, because you used the word desperate. There is a possibility that this guy does not like Tyreek Hill. He's frustrated. You may be able to get Tyreek Hill for Tyrone Tracy, and that's the move I would make. And then you could work out. You can scour the waiver wire and see if you can upgrade over Spears. Is there a chance a guy wants Spears? Maybe he's a Titans fan. I don't know. But yeah, I like the idea of what you're doing here. I'm assuming you have a winning record. Hopefully you win tonight. Stay in touch with me, Jordan. Let me know what you do. Also, Mike, I hope that you're able to turn your season around. I hope you're able to turn your season around. All right. I said I was going to recap what happened. I got caught up on everything. I apologize for those of you that, yeah, you should be 4-3. I'll keep. I'm going to watch both games. I have a weird system. What I do is I DVR both. I have all the games on DVR. I have the NFL Sunday Ticket. So what I do is I DVR one game for like 10 minutes, and then I go back and watch 10. I kind of go back like 10 to 15 minutes. That way I can watch both games. And I don't like watching a game where I know the outcome, which is kind of hard. But if I remember right, the Tampa game's on first, if I remember correctly. Yeah, the Tampa game's like 40. Yeah, so I watched the Tampa game first, then yeah. Smart of the Saints. I actually was expecting him in Kansas City, but that's very smart of the Saints. You need a player. He's got home run speed and some size. Drops a lot of passes. I was kind of surprised when the Bills signed him, because they made it sound like they got a piece of the puzzle. They took away from Kansas City, and it's like, no. I mean, he by the way, he came through in the playoffs, and that's all you can ask. But I think it's smart. I mean, the Saints have lost 5 straight. It's a shame, because like the Saints have a good defense. I like what they're doing offensively. I like the scheme. I like the system. I'm not really sure what they can do. No, it's the only reason Carr's banged up. I mean, Carr's injured, and bottom line, when Carr's healthy, he's going to be the starter. I actually matter of fact, there's talk about him starting this week against your Chargers. According to ESPN, he's out, but so ESPN is like, yeah. I mean, you think Rattler? I actually fully expect Derek Carr to come back and play against your Chargers. And and to be honest with you, it's a real shame, because like the Saints are one of these teams that, I mean, they're 2-5. They've lost five straight, but they're really a decent team. I do think he's going to play. I do think he's going to play. I wouldn't bet on it, though. No, I wouldn't bet on it, but I do think he's going to play. I think the Saints, what they're looking at probably is an opportunity to turn their season around. if I'm the Saints, I think that this is where you try to turn your season around. You got a few extra days rest. You got a few extra days of rest. You played on Thursday. The Chargers are going to play on Monday night on the road. You really need a win. You really, really, really need a win if you're the Saints. And I think Derek Carr gives you your best opportunity. And the reason why I say that is because, look, if you're the Saints and you win this game, look at your next three opponents before the bye. At Carolina, home against Atlanta, home against Cleveland. There's a really good legitimate chance you beat the Chargers. You're probably thinking, hey, we can win 2 out of 3, if not all 3. We go into the bye and we got a chance. We got a chance because after the bye, look at this. Home against the Rams, at the Giants, home against Washington, at Green Bay, home against the Raiders, and then Tampa Bay. There is a chance that you might be able to be like a 8-9 win team, sneak into the playoffs. I like the Saints. I really do. It's just such a damn shame that it's really just such a damn shame because they could have very easily beaten Atlanta and Philly. They weren't as good as Kansas City. The Tampa Bay game, that was entertaining as hell. And then Denver just got on them with that really, really good defense. But I do expect Derek Carr. Now, Derek Carr, according to ESPN, is rolled out. So I'm gonna read this to you exactly. Okay, so this is ESPN, not the best. Okay. Not the best source. I just want to be very clear. 8 hours ago, out. Status is questionable with a red dot, which means that they don't expect him to play. But I'm going to tell you this right now. He's a tough kid. I think he's going to give it a go. I really do. But no, I would not bet on it. Chargers are probably 10-11 win team max. I like the Chargers quite a bit. I did predict them to beat Arizona. They're going to be 4-2. I'm looking at their next 4 games. All right, I'm looking at their next 4 games. Saints at home, at Cleveland. Actually, let's look at the next 3 games. Saints at home, at Cleveland, home against Tennessee. I would not be surprised if they win at least 3 or maybe all 4. And then a home game against the Bengals, a home game against Baltimore. Those are tough games. But by the way, the game against Baltimore is fun. Monday night, the Harbaugh brothers battling for playoff positioning, it appears. But look, I'm looking at, let's just say they beat Arizona and go 4-2. Their next 3 opponents, there's at least 2 wins there probably. You're going against Cincinnati and Baltimore. You're probably a 6-3 or a 7-2 team. That's you're in good shape, man. You're in good shape. You do have a fairly tough run home because after you play Tennessee, Bengals and Baltimore at home, that's tough. At Atlanta, at Kansas City, that's tough. Home games against Tampa and Denver. The last 2 games to end the season at New England and at Vegas are advantageous because you have two of the weaker opponents on the road. But that stretch, week 11 through week 16 is tough. Cincinnati, Baltimore, Atlanta, Kansas City, Tampa Bay. Actually, those 5 opponents right there, you're looking at 5 possible playoff teams. I am counting Cincinnati as a playoff caliber team. I think they're going to get things turned around, be dangerous. But if you beat Arizona tonight, and I predict you will, you're probably going to be 6-3 or 7-2. If I was the Saints and I can get some good value, then yes. And the reason why is that you have an aging team, specifically on defense. You need some edge rushers. This is the draft to get some edge rushers. Chase Young was a 1-year rental. You're probably not even going to invite him back. And there's several players in this draft that you could get and have some massive upgrades on your defensive front line. So I think it would work out good for everybody. But he's expensive. You got to get. I'm off the top of my head. I don't see him fitting in. Ideally, to tell you the truth, a team like Kansas City would have made a lot of sense. So ideally, you'd want him to go to an AFC team. And it's really hard to say. It's really, really hard to say. You know what? It wouldn't work financially, but the team that really makes the most sense, even though I love Javonte Williams, would be the Denver Broncos. Reunite him with Sean Payton, and you have somebody who can help out a rookie quarterback. I just don't know if it works fiscally. Because they're giving Russell Wilson all that money. I don't know if you could bring him in. If I'm Denver, I would love to do it if you can make the numbers work. Keep in mind, I do love Javonte Williams, and he's looked really good the last couple of weeks. But the Denver Broncos, to me, would make the most sense. He reunites with Sean Payton. I don't know the relationship they had together, but I thought Sean Payton used him as like a part-time starter versus a full-time guy. If Alvin Kamara is willing to do that, that would make a lot of sense. If you're going to trade him to an NFC team, that would be really interesting. The only NFC team. Here's the deal. This year, here's the deal. I don't know if Alvin Kamara's ring hunting or not, but the one thing about the Denver Broncos is that how much do you think about Sean Payton? Because Denver's 4-3 right now. They lose the tiebreaker with the Colts. Okay, they lose the tiebreaker with the Colts. That said, they're tied with the Colts for that final wild card spot. You have a really good defense. Alvin Kamara's probably thinking, you know what? I go to a team with a good defense. I have Sean Payton. Yeah. The NFC, I'm kind of looking at the Dallas Cowboys. It's a Jerry Jones type of move, but you have Ezekiel Elliott. Donald's been playing better. I don't see Washington or Tampa Bay making that type of move. I don't know how it would work financially, but to be honest, he fits like a hand in a glove with the 49ers. But if you're in the AFC, where would he go in the AFC? They could go to a team where he has a chance of win. I think in the AFC, the only team that really makes sense, maybe the Colts, if Jonathan Taylor can't stay healthy, possibility, but I kind of doubt it. Yeah, I don't think Tampa. I mean, I'm looking at like Detroit. No, I just don't see it in Washington. Maybe because Brian Robinson's been banged up, Austin Eckler's been banged up. Maybe, um, if you think he's looking for a ring, Tampa Bay possibly, but I have no idea. It's a Dallas move, and I think Denver in the AFC makes a lot of sense, but I don't. I mean, here's the problem. He has a lot of money going towards him, and he's an aging running back, and that's usually something you don't want to trade for. So, yeah, exactly. Now Rashad has been banged up, but I mean, you mentioned ring hunting. I'm looking Tampa Bay's the number 3 seed in the NFC, so. J-Tube, what's up, brother? This will be my final question before I end the show. However, you can drop me a comment. I will respond, but it'll be after Monday Night Football. You can also hit me up on Instagram or X or Twitter, whatever one you want to call it, or you can go old school and email me at dantalksfootball@yahoo.com. J-Tube, good luck, brother, tonight. I recognize you. Do check out my week 8 picks video tomorrow. Up 53. Nice. He has J.K. Dobbins, Lamar, and Tucker. Should I start McBride or MHJ? What are your chances? Okay. Interesting that he's going with Tucker. I know he had the big explosion, but he is the third string running back. Dobbins, Lamar's tough, man. All right. I like your chances. I like your chances because I do think, full disclosure, I like Dobbins quite a bit. I think he has a good game. Lamar, you have a chance because even though I am expecting a shootout, Derrick Henry should get some of those touchdowns. You may luck out and he has a lot of yards, doesn't score. If they're scoring touchdowns instead of field goals, you may luck out and Tucker may only get a few points. There is a possibility these 3 guys may not be able to get to 50. Okay. I would lean towards McBride over Marvin Harrison Jr. That is my preference because in this situation, I want a higher floor where Marvin Harrison Jr. gives you the higher ceiling. I think your chances are good. I think it's much more likely McBride is going to get you 5 to 10, and that's really all you need. All right. Keep in mind, J.K. Dobbins has 150 and 3 touchdowns. You're hurting. I'm assuming you're in a PPR league. They don't throw him the ball a lot. Lamar, which you have to bank on, is that Derrick Henry gets the touchdowns and not Lamar. And you're also hoping Tucker is kicking extra points, not touchdowns. And that, I do expect a shootout, so I expect some points. Like it's going to be very close. I would go at McBride because all you want is like 5 to 10. That's it. Marvin Harrison Jr. has been shut out a couple times this year. I am aware that Marvin Harrison Jr. has the potential for 100 and some and a couple touchdowns. This Chargers defense is really, really, really good. I fully think that with McBride, you're going to get 5 to 10. I think you're in good shape. J2, let me know what you decide. Let me know what happens tomorrow. I hope to see you back tomorrow for another episode of Afternoon Delight. Have a great night. If you need me, send me an email. I'm not responding to anything till after Monday Night Football, unfortunately, but you can email me and I'll get you tonight, DM me, or drop a comment in the video, and check out my picks video tomorrow. Have a great night. Good luck on your fantasy games, and I'll see you tomorrow.